spent 6 days in Oregon and Washington. From our lovely home in Cincinnati, we first went to Bandon, Oregon for the boys who enjoy a nice golf outing. We were at the Bandon Dunes Resort. And if you are a wife or a girlfriend or just a family member in general that's going and don't plan to golf, it was such a beautiful place with so much scenery, a lot of walking trails, and so much to see even if you're not golfing. The trees here were so beautiful, so tall, and spectacular to see with my own eyes. There's also a ton of fun stuff to do outside of the resort, like head to the beach and enjoy the scenery, or maybe take a dip if you're up for it. It was cold when we went though, so it was not something that we did. The resort itself was so beautiful, everything was so nice. Let me give you a glance of where we stayed. This is one of the bathrooms. The bedding was so cute. Of course, I brought my stuffed animal, a little closet space, plenty of drawer space, and don't mind my stuff. I'd already started unpacking when I decided I should make a video of this. The shower, conditioner, shampoo, everything you need was provided by the hotel. A nice big tub and all sorts of wooded scenery that you can see directly from your room. It was beautiful. And of course, it was golf themed inside. It's a golf resort. But it's so beautiful to just look out your window and see nature. It's so much better than looking at the top of a building or something commercialized. We went to a steakhouse restaurant while the boys were playing golf, and it was so delicious. But the golf course was really cool, unlike golf courses in Ohio. The little town of Bandon, Oregon was really cute. Just outside of town, we were able to see some wildlife on the rocks. So many little sea lions laying out on the rocks. It was so cool to see. We were surprised to see wildlife, and they were literally just laying right next to all of these big waves crashing in, overtowering all of these ginormous rocks. I could have just sat here for hours watching the waves come in. It was so peaceful. Definitely not a place I would want to swim. The water was freezing. But all along the coastline, there were so many pretty ocean views. Downtown Bandon, Oregon had so many cute shops to look at, and I loved the store, the Sassy Seagull. They had so many good things. We also tried some popcorn at the store, and they just gave you all the free samples. I loved it. So if you're joining people who are golfing in Bandon and you don't plan to golf, there's definitely a lot of things to check out if you love the outdoors. Next, we hit up the airport and we were heading somewhere new. Go ahead, feel free to guess where I'm at. I'm taking a seaplane ride in Seattle. Seaplanes are super cool because they land and take off on water. And it was such a small plane. There's only 4 people who can sit on this. Your captain and then 3 people from your group. There's only 2 of us doing the seaplane ride, but it was so exciting to get in this plane. I didn't know what to expect because I'd never done something like this before. They said the plane could be really loud. They gave us some earplugs and we put those in our ears for takeoff and landing so it wasn't going to hurt our ears. The beginning of the seaplane ride almost felt like you were on a boat. You were just gliding across the water, and then when they got enough speed, they took off and you started to fly in the air. And this was such a cool vantage point to see Seattle from, and I just got to see so much and learn so much history about Seattle from up here. I actually did a couple different tours and learned something different from every history tour that was out there. And because I thought it was so cool up here, I wanted to make sure to capture some videos of everything that I saw to share with you guys. There's so many beautiful houses, so much water, and such a beautiful landscape with a city lifestyle, but mountains in the background as well, which was so cool. There was also some cruises that were ported here, getting ready to leave, going towards Alaska. The baseball field was really cool because it had a retractable roof, and they don't have that in Cincinnati. Plus, they had some floating bridges, which was really super cool. I love to see this. It's really cool to experience the world from a different angle, up high. I don't know, pilots just inspire me. I think it's so fun to be up in the air like that. And look at these incredible houses. Here, you're going to see Mr. Bill Gates' house. Stunning. So much there to see. But I would also feel so weird if I knew people were just like flying over my house all the time, just staring at my house, but still so many beautiful properties surrounding his home. There are also some boat houses where people lived. And once we were all finished with the seaplane tour, it just landed very casually. This was the part I was the most nervous for, but all you saw was a little splash and bam, we were landed. He opened up the door to make sure that we could get docked super easily. It was really windy when he did this, and it was a little chilly, but it was super fun. We went in May, so that's why it was kind of cold. After we were done with our tour, it was actually only 15 minutes long. We went to the public market and we got macaroni and cheese at this place, and we saw them making cheese. This was really cool to see them slinging cheese around. And then it started raining, so we actually got a ride back to our hotel on this bike. Not like a horse carriage, but like a bike carriage. He was literally riding a bicycle, taking us back to our hotel. I wasn't ready for the day to be over, and I found a $20 underground tour of Seattle, so I did it. I learned so much about the history of Seattle and how they built a town over their existing town underneath the sidewalks. It's all lit up underneath there for lights, but on top it looks like this. So this tour was super cool because it taught me so much about what Seattle used to be like. To finish the day, we ended up by the pier area, which was so beautiful. There's so many shops, and it's also super cool because there's a lot of places to ride your bikes, and it was just full of greenery and landscaped super beautifully. So I loved the pier area because it was super close to the water as well. We stayed at the Embassy Suites while we were here. They had free breakfast, which we loved. From healthy bites to eats to pancakes to a full-fledged buffet and then make your own omelet bar. It was pretty impressive. Everything was complimentary for you to enjoy. And also you could take some bakery goods. I liked to take a banana with me on the go to eat for a snack. All in all, I really liked our stay at the Embassy Suites. So I definitely recommend staying here if you're looking for something really close to a lot of things to do in Seattle. I loved how it was decorated, and I loved this wall by the elevator. It was so peaceful. Here's what the view out of our hotel room looked like. We could see a lot of the skyline, plus we were really close to both sports stadiums. We watched the Seattle Mariners play the Toronto Blue Jays, and of course I was excited about the Griffey jerseys. Us Cincinnati folks love him. After the game was over, there was like a big party going on outside the stadium. It was very pretty. We had a lot of fun at the game. We were like right behind the plate, and there were a ton of Canada fans that showed up. It's always really hard for me to not compare cities to my own city, and I just kept comparing this to Cincinnati, and I don't know, I just like the Red Stadium a lot better. But a really cool thing about Seattle that Cincinnati doesn't have is a ferry that you can take to different islands. So this was really cool because there was a ferry just for people to get on and take a trip. I think it was $10 a person, so relatively affordable. There was an exterior deck for people to walk on outside and enjoy the views and look at the ocean. And the skyline here is very pretty. I love the Space Needle as well. But even if you are not wanting to just walk around, there is an area for you to drive your car on to this ferry. That is so crazy. I've never seen something like this where you just drive your vehicle straight onto a boat, basically. I just thought this was so fascinating. We went over to Bainbridge Island where we found a little hiking trail. We didn't really know what we wanted to do over here, but the views were really beautiful of Seattle. You could see everything from over here and just the mountain skyline in the back. This is what that ferry looked like that we took a ride on. And of course I had to do a cartwheel over here, just doing cartwheels in different places. The flowers were really beautiful everywhere too. It could have just been the time frame, but the flowers were gorgeous. I love clam chowder. I love trying new things, and I was obsessed with clam chowder. We were also really close to stadiums, as I said previously, so even though it wasn't football season, we took a glimpse of the stadium there. Of course, we did all of the touristy things because they have a Ferris wheel down in the little town area by the pier, so we did the Ferris wheel, and there were some really pretty views up here. I really enjoyed it, and I loved the way the sunlight hit the water. It was super gorgeous to look at. The boys did not participate in the Ferris wheel with us, but it was fun to wave to them every single time we went by them. The wheel's super pretty because it lights up at nighttime, so you can see a lot of fun colors. We were riding it closer to sunset, so it started to get dark. We also did the Space Needle, which has a complete glass floor at the top. There is a section off to the side. If you don't want to walk on the glass, that is carpeted. My dad really wanted to make sure I got a picture with Mount Rainier in the background, so you could see that in my last clip. But my theory with a lot of tourist activities like this is it has to be safe, right? They wouldn't build it if it wasn't safe. And here's that view of that Mount Rainier in the background. It's really pretty. And there's a second observation deck of the Space Needle, which is just glass exterior. And then there was these spiders that are painted to look 3D. That was pretty cool. I love to try out a new ice cream spot, and this was over at the public market where I got to see a lot of pretty flowers, got to see a fish thrown in the air, and a lot of fun, cute little shops. I didn't buy any flowers because I figured they would die on my trip, but the public market was a fun sight to see. There's a lot of graffiti in Seattle though, which I didn't like because I feel like Seattle is such a beautiful city, but the graffiti made it feel a little dirty. But that's my travel vlog. Thanks for joining me on my trip to Seattle and Bandon, Oregon. We had so much fun on our trip. Comment below if you've been to any of these places, or if you have any questions about my trip, or if you're planning to go there. I have so many fun ideas, and I hope this video helps you explore the world a little bit more through my adventures as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Can't wait to see you for the next video.